What it do, Dream Team? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with why Australia is legally an American corporation. That's crazy to actually say. But that's why I'm reacting to that video, because that title actually piqued my interest. An American corporation is wild. But I've seen a few comments of you guys when I reacted about the Australian slinger given to the Ukraine. I've seen multiple comments about you guys saying Australia needs to mind its own business and stop following the U.S. blindly, and so it needs to distance themselves from the U.S. and all that. So that kind of intrigued me to this video. But before we dive in, make sure you guys subscribe if you happen to enjoy the video. Hit that like button, and if you have a video request of your own, you can do it in one of three ways. You can drop it in the comment section. You can subscribe to Patreon and request it there. Or in the description section, there's a link that's where I'll take free as well as premium requests.
This video was made possible by ExpressVPN. Start browsing the web securely with 3 months free by going to expressvpn.com/h. One by one, they rounded up tens of thousands of local criminals onto ships, sailed them out into the middle of the Indian Ocean, and sunk the ships, killing everyone on board. The ships, and the innumerable bodies trapped inside them, remained hidden for eternity at the bottom of the sea right here, where Australia would be if it existed at all. That's right, Australia doesn't exist, it never existed. The entire fictional landmass is at the center of the largest cover-up in human history, and sure, now you're probably thinking, but I've been to Australia. Wrong. You've actually been to the eastern Patagonian desert in Argentina after being tricked by a cabal of corrupt airline pilots sworn to covering up 18th century England's 67th worst genocide. Wait. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I think my new intern has been feeding me research from conspiracy theory sites again.
Okay, I was about to say, I almost clicked out the videos like I'm not about to react to, because I reacted to Australia isn't real by conspiracy theorists. I reacted to that video. So I was like, I'm not about to do that again. Australia's obviously real. They're obviously Australians. And so, yeah, I was about to click off, but okay. That's not where we're going with this.
And believe it or not, this isn't the only widespread conspiracy theory about Australia not existing. A lot of people, even some Australians, believe that Australia isn't a country, but is actually an American corporation. The weird thing is, it turns out they're actually kind of right. But in order to explain exactly how, and in order to determine whether or not Australians should be jumping in the ocean and swimming to the nearest real country, we need to talk about how Australia became a company in the first place. The year is 2009. Barack Obama has just been sworn in as the 44th President of the United States. Peanut Corp is being implicated in the deaths of 9 Americans and the poisoning of 600 more. You are alone in your room, recovering from the swine flu, playing Wii Sports Resort on mute as your mother weeps in the living room, unsure if your family will ever be able to recover from the worst economic recession since the Great Depression. By June, all of these connected dots will eventually culminate in Australia's incorporation in the United States. Well, I mean, except for the Obama thing, and the peanut thing, and the swine flu, and the Wii Sport. Really, just the recession thing. The recession is what will lead to Australia's eventual incorporation in the United States. You see, when a country's economy starts to collapse, the idea of drawing all your money out of your bank account and investing it in gold and man-killing crossbows before the bank collapses starts to sound really appealing. Suddenly, everyone is kicking down the door of the nearest Wells Fargo, draining their banks of all their money, and things get really bad. Like, a whole bunch of people lose their entire life savings because the banks ran out of money and shut down bad.
I said, what you mean I lost my entire life savings? How? I put that money here to be held. I never gave you access to my money. Now I know that banks use people's money to give out loans and certain things, and I don't know all the intricacies and all the details of how it works. I just know about it. But yeah, I wouldn't be happy. I guess everybody running to pull out their money at the banks wouldn't have no more money. But yeah, I said, nah, somebody gonna get my life savings.
Knowing that this sort of run on the bank could happen in their country if the downturn reached them, Australia promised all of its citizens that even if all the banks collapsed, the government would be able to pay back any of the money that they weren't able to withdraw in time. With this sort of reassurance, there would be no reason for people to panic, and hopefully, the run on the bank would never happen in the first place. Now, that sounds good, but it also sounds good when you tell a girl at the bar that your favorite hobby is skiing down a giant mountain of gold coins like Scrooge McDuck. The problem, however, is the same. When you need to prove it, where's that money going to come from? Australia couldn't
Good
just
point.
print more money. Well, I mean, they could, but then you run into the risk of crazy hyperinflation like the Weimar Republic, and lesson one of history is that you really, really don't want to be the Weimar Republic. So they decided that if it ever came to it, they should just borrow the money from someplace else. Specifically, American companies. Now, it's not quite that simple. Lending money to a country instead of a company comes with certain risks. For example, if I lent money directly to Australia, Australia could just pass the Sam is a total rube and no one has to ever pay him his money back law. So,
Okay.
in order to follow these same regulations as other American companies, Australia had to register as a corporation with the US Securities and Exchange Commission, creating its very own
Wow.
prospectus, business plan, budget outline, basically everything a real American corporation would need to secure investors.
That's legit insane. See, this is stuff that I never know about. That's very fascinating and interesting to me. So instead of taking money from the American government, they actually would take money from American corporations, which I think run America in the first place. Corporations and the elite of the elite, the rich of the rich. I think they're the ones pulling all the strings behind America anyway. President's just the face of the country. Never mind what I think. That may be a conspiracy on my end, but corporations usually get their way. And so I'm like, if they're always getting their way, and it seems like the people, no matter what they want, are never really getting their way, the majority at least, then we're seeing who runs America. Well, okay. So this is very fascinating to me, but this is just to ensure, right, if they ever had an economic collapse or anything, that people's money is insured. Like, hey, we're going to make sure that you're paid. You didn't lose your money.
So, what does this mean for Australians? Is Australia not a real country? Are Australians all just American employees? Are evil American investors pocketing Australian taxpayers' hard-earned money? Yes, and yet. Wait, sorry, that was my conspiracy theorist interview. The real answer is, of course, no. The Australian Treasury owns the company in full, the shares are not available on any stock exchange, and the prospectus prohibits any share of the company from being traded, sold, or compensated with dividends. And let's be honest, it's not like investors are jumping to cash in on a company whose most popular product is a middle-aged guy with a big knife, anyway. The point is, Australia's incorporation is largely a precautionary measure to protect its own citizens, and in fact, the company has never once needed to be used because its very existence successfully prevented the disaster it was built to remedy.
Oh.
Now, if you're an Australian watching, you might be frustrated to learn that your country is an American corporation when you still don't have access to every American movie and TV show on your Netflix servers. That's why you should use ExpressVPN.
Okay, so I think the rest is just going to be him talking about the sponsor, that is ExpressVPN. But that was actually pretty fascinating to know that they filled that out. But that's very smart of Australia, right? Just in case. It's always good to have a just in case this happens plan. So just in case they were to go into economic fall, all the money's backed up. They're gonna go borrow the money from American corporations, so they have to actually file as an American corporation where the Treasury runs everything, but they never had to actually use it. That's all we have for this video so far. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Also, if you enjoyed that one, make sure you check this one out next. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. See you on the next one.